Hey! So I'm going to make a very short video right now, and I'll probably tack on some more stuff later. I have to hurry and get ready. I'm going to the Cure after party. So the Cure is having a series of concerts here in the city at Madison Square Garden, and I was a dummy and flaked on getting tickets, so I'm not actually going to the concert tonight. But I am going to the after party, which is taking place at the old Albion Batcave, which is no longer it hasn't been the Albion Batcave since the end of 2004, which is when I moved here pretty much. So I got to go there the first year that I lived here, I was able to go, and then it shut down. But 10 years later, it has opened up as another very alternative scene friendly establishment, and so a lot of the vampire balls have been happening there, and a lot of the goth nights have been happening there, and they're doing this tonight, and it's awesome. They're going to have an all Cure. There are 3 levels, so the one level is going to be all Cure, another is going to be 80s synth pop kind of stuff, and another is going to be all goth, I believe. So I need to get ready and go out to that. A friend of mine had a birthday party tonight, so I stopped by for just like the first hour and a half. She's at her mom's house, but her mom has a lot of money, and so she lives in this huge brownstone with a glorious backyard. It's like heaven out there. It's pretty unbelievable. So anyway, she had a birthday party, and I stopped by. She's one of my Ren Fair witch friends, and so that was great. And then on the way back, I stopped in at the wine shop, and they were doing a gin and rye tasting, and this guy was like making cocktails, and so won't have to spend as much on drinks tonight, I guess. But yeah, I was going to talk about a little health scare I had earlier in the week, and I hear that Evan has arrived back in the apartment, so maybe I should just do this later. No, I'll do it now. Okay, so essentially, I was under a ton of stress this past week with some work events, and then like tacked on to the work stress that I was already experiencing. And Thursday, which was the day of our major fundraiser, I woke up with heart palpitations, like nothing I don't get heart palpitations unless it's just a flutter because I'm scared. I'm on a roller coaster, but I have no heart issues. As the doctor I recently saw about this, actually yesterday, I have an athlete's heart. He said I can expect to never have any kind of heart problems because I actually have my resting heart rate at the time was 47. It's usually around 50 beats per minute, and they did an EKG, which once again shows I have these J waves. It's early repolarization, so it's like your heart is this is only seen in young people and some men and athletes, like 1% of the population has it. So your heart is like so efficient that it goes ahead and it sends a signal to beat slightly ahead of time, and it's totally benign. It's the sign of being extremely in shape. So that's my condition. So when to have any kind of heart trouble is a real concern, or to think that I have heart trouble, because that means that whatever's causing it has to go. Like, if this is my job causing such stress that I'm now cardiovascularly supreme, Stacy is now experiencing heart problems, no. Whatever's causing this has to be eliminated from my life. I don't care. So, it went on for 2 days. It stopped temporarily after the fundraising event, which was late at night, and then I had to get up super early and be the master of everything at this board meeting. And it just went on, and eventually I was like, everyone, I'm leaving. I'm going to get an EKG. And the doctor thought that perhaps it's a virus. He said he thinks it's labyrinthitis, which would be a virus embedding itself in my inner ear, mixing up the signal to my heart. I don't know how it's connected, but anyway, this is apparently a thing that you can get. He said it's not all that uncommon. Or the virus could have gone into my heart muscle, which would cause it as well. Or it could have been both. And it's probably in my liver. But I have no viral symptoms. And he said, well, I did see some like mucus, fluid on your ear, and and he did a balance test, and I seemed to be off balance, but I also had a migraine at the time, so yes, I have a headache, I have nausea, and I'm slightly dizzy, but that's because I have a migraine. And I didn't sleep the night before, so anyway, it's a complicating factor. So I did some more research, and it turns out that a lot of women get this when they're ovulating because of follicle stimulating hormone, and apparently it can get worse as you get older and you have less your hormones go down, and then it takes more of this stuff to create the ovulation, so to the egg release. And I typically use progesterone cream, which would offset any effect like this, but I haven't been using it because I was sleeping heavier and I felt like I didn't need it. So anyway, that's the story. So always do your research. Doctors don't know everything. This is a stupid lamp over here. It's creating a weird glow on my face. But yeah, maybe I'll do a little recording before I go out to this party. Maybe not. I don't know. This is very short, so I'm going to add something onto the end of it momentarily, or soon. Okay. Alright, so I'm obviously recording before I go out. Well, that's not obvious, is it? Although, if this were after I returned, it would be unlikely that the light would be on, because that would bother me immensely. So yes, I'm actually wearing the same thing that I wore last time. I went out Gothing, and there's a mosquito in here. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's it. Here's what I'm wearing, and I have on, what Deepal am I wearing? Midnight Kiss, with music that's far too loud. And I'm really regretting that we don't actually have tickets to see The Cure. Evan sort of poo-pooed it. Oh, they're 100 years old. So that's probably why I didn't pressure him. But I have other friends who are going, so I should have just linked up with somebody, but alas, maybe in another decade. Okay, that's it. I will report back when I have something substantive to say. Substantive. Oh, I know what I can do. I can talk about the chapbook that I'm working on, and the fact that I'm going to be the poetry editor for the Mensa Bulletin. National publication, and I'm going to be poetry editor, apparently, because I volunteered for it. And people in Mensa don't like being active in the organization, curiously. So, I don't know what it is. But that could be the subject of another vlog. A boring one. Okay, good night. So it's now Sunday evening, and the sun is going down. I've been exhausted all day, last night, though doors were at 9:30 at this particular event, the after party for the Cure concert, that is. The concert didn't end until around 11:30, so most of the people weren't there until 11:45, midnight, and there was a huge line at that point to get in. And so anyway, we showed up around 10. I've probably mentioned this before, but I really object to the insistence upon starting all of the goth events so fucking late. I mean, in other cities, they start earlier. They start around 9. That seems reasonable. I'd be cool with 8:30, you know? I don't know why people have to wait until it's going to interfere with the next day if you stay for any length of time, because I always have to sacrifice the next day, being that I can't sleep late. I mean, there are a few reasons for this. First of all, my natural and I have like no makeup on in my hair. I haven't even done it. So this is very brave of me, isn't it? I just don't have the energy to care. So my circadian rhythms kind of put me in the wake up by 7 o'clock no matter what kind of pattern. Did I already say that? So now that since I'm so far north, I grew up near the equator where the days, even in the middle of the summer, the days were fairly equal in length to nights. Now the sun is coming up at like 4 in the morning. It starts to come up, and by 5 it's light outside. By 5:30, if it's a clear day, and it's different if it's overcast, of course, but the light is going to find a way in here. I have a room. My setup in here is ridiculous, trying to block out the sun, and maybe it'll be slightly better now that I have put up a replacement room darkening shade, which does black out everything except around the edges, which, due to the structure of my window, which you can't see, there's going to be some light creeping in, like when the wind blows. And the reason it moves when the wind blows is that I have a window AC unit, and the pressure changes create these undulations. And so anyway, so when I wake up periodically during the night, and I'll get up and I'll like go get a drink of water or get my supplements or eat something and go back to bed. And if I do that, the light in the kitchen living room area is going to cause, I'm very light sensitive. It's going to trigger all of the processes that lead to you being, fully awake, and cortisol rises. And I know I've talked about this, sorry to be boring. But I didn't get much sleep. So yeah, so we went to bed around 1:30 last night. We stayed long enough to see the long line forming outside, and the music, although they were supposed to have 3 rooms, 3 floors, the lower levels didn't open up until after we left, and because the DJs had been at the concert. Should have figured that out. And there was the room where they were playing all, or mostly, they said it was all Cure music, but it wasn't. They were playing other goth stuff, which was good. And then in the red room, which is the bigger space, it's a very nice setup actually. They were playing some really obscure 80s and 90s alternative music, but it wasn't goth by any means. I mean, I've never danced to the Pixies at a goth event, which I'm glad they played the Pixies. That was like the best song they played. Dig for Fire, but yeah, so we didn't get a ton of dancing in, and I injured my hip when I was kind of low on energy by that point anyway. I don't know, it's just sort of a weird night. Evan has this I don't want to. Evan sort of has this, not a stalker, but a strange character who likes him a lot, has no friends, and always, because Evan's nice, he says because he's a Pisces, and people feel understood by him, and he's sensitive in certain ways. This guy seems to like him a lot. He won't even talk to me, but he's weird and like kind of scary weird. Not weird is fine, but possibly dangerous is the feeling that I get. So I tried to avoid him. So I was off by myself quite a bit, and then I didn't get much sleep. It just wasn't a good sleep night at all. Sometimes I'll come in from these things and I'll be so bombed that I'll sleep, 5 hours, get up, sleep an hour more, and that's okay. It wasn't quite that solid last night, but I did achieve the things that I was determined to do, all except for the fun things, and the real productivity of my day was supposed to consist of finishing a poem that's going to go into my chapbook, a chapbook that is bound by a theme of memory and issues of trusting your memory and the frailty of it and the temporality of it. So I need a few more poems that are going to stitch it all together. Not a ton, but I have a deadline here. I have to enter this contest by the end of the month, and it's a no fee contest, and those are hard to come by. So I'm really hoping I can pull this off somehow. I don't know if I'm going to, though, because of work. So anyway, I didn't get to work on that any today, so that's a bummer. And then my friend who had the birthday party last night, which is where we should have, I had a hunch that it would have been more fun if I just stayed at her party, because I was having a great time. Everyone's younger than me by like 10 years, but really cool people, and my friend is really cool, and this took place at her mom's brownstone in Park Slope. She owns the whole thing, and I think I said this yesterday too, I'm not sure, I can't remember, my brain isn't working, but they have this glorious backyard, and in the summer it's just so green and lush, and the sun was, it was like during the magic hour yesterday when I arrived, and the sun was coming through the trees and through these balloons that she had set up, and it was really magical. And we were going to do a ritual over here for Litha, and I told her I would text her. I haven't done that. I don't think this is going to work out because I have to get ready for bed soon. But yeah, I'll probably just tinker with my tarot cards. And it's a full moon, you know, the first in 70 years when we've had summer solstice and a full, I believe it's the honeymoon, which is the best moon, in the middle of June. And what else? I could talk about gun control. Oh, I could. I'm so weary. I think I've told you guys that I grew up in the South. I was very much a fish out of water. Literally, I didn't go in the water, because the water scares me. I did go in the water. I had some near drowning experiences as a result of that, but like after hurricane, the riptide pulled me under, and I thought I was gonna die. But yeah, maybe I'll say I don't want to talk about. I should say what I think, because I'm kind of using my YouTube channel as an alternate to the dreadful like crossfire of binary political positions that people are thrusted into or feel that they have to cleave to, and that social media only worsens. I hate team sports. I don't believe in group allegiance, even where family is concerned. If I think that you're a bad person, as far as I'm concerned, you're not in my family. And I do my best not to be callous about it, but come on. And friends are the family that you choose, and being tied to geography and taking on the values of where your family is based forever and ever, not calling into question what the sense of community is based on, oppressing people, violence, radicalized Christianity that's every bit as bad as radical Islam. Let's just say I had to unfollow another person I'm close to who's a very good person otherwise, but you can't even have a reasonable conversation about things like this with them, because they get just very territorial, and it's irrational in itself. That is irrational. I'm from the South. These are my values. Don't question them. Or I'm a Christian. Regardless of what the Westboro Baptist Church is doing, they're still Christians. So I have a greater sense of fraternity with them than people who are just reasonable atheists. Anyway, so maybe that's all I should say. No, I should say more, but not now. How about that? how about that? And maybe I should do my hair. um, okay, so I guess in summary, sometimes it's best to just, on a Saturday night when you're feeling good, stay where you are and don't trust that unless DJs you know are um, going to be spinning at a goth event that will probably still get going at the same time they always get going. Um, Stay where you are with the good friends who are actually talking to you, because that's another thing. You get to these events, and unless you already know some, you don't like make friends at a goth event. At least I don't, unless when I've been by myself. Not recently, but of course people will come up and talk to you and hit on you and buy you drinks, and but otherwise it's not like you're gonna make a lifelong friend. At least in my experience, that's never happened. Never happened. Yeah. So I get to go to bed in 2 hours, and I'm very happy about that. Okay, this is enough. Have a good week. I'm sure that I won't. My week is going to suck like all the other recent weeks I've had, and that's a shame. And I'll talk about it later. Night.